Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with a bunch of topics to discuss. But before starting, I just want to convey you all a message that our festive season is on. So if you want to avail all our offers regarding our courses, please join our WhatsApp group as well as our Telegram group from the link given below. Also to avail some of the free study materials, you will get the updates all in these groups that is purely dedicated for your preparation purposes. So now let's start with today's analysis. So the first topic says about ISRO's heaviest rocket. So recently we could see about that the Indian Space Research Organization, that is the ISRO, it created a history on Sunday morning by launching its heaviest rocket, that is known as LVM-3 M2, on its maiden commercial mission with 36 satellites on board as a part of the When Web India mission of the space agency. Okay, तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि like ISRO has totally been successful in this area where it has launched a heavier rocket into the space with 36 broadband communication satellites of a UK based customer into the intended orbits, making the mission historic for the country. So if you see about this OneWeb Limited, which is basically a UK based, ये न्यू स्पेस इंडिया लिमिटेड, दैट इज द इसरोस कमर्शियल आर्म के द्वारा आया गया है. ठीक है. सो दिस न्यू स्पेस इंडिया लिमिटेड who is basically working for all such number of commercial activities of the euros of the ISRO, and also creating a global communication network powered from space, enabling internet connectivity for governments and businesses that is all over wide in this whole world. So now if you see about this LVM-3 M2 rockets, which basically were injected into the orbits around 75 minutes after the rocket blasted off from the spaceport in Sriharikota, deeming the One Web India 1 mission successful. Okay, so now we could easily say that ISRO scientists have renamed this launch vehicle, that is the LVM-3 M2, from GSLV Mark III, as the newest rocket is very much capable of launching around 4,000 kilograms class of satellites into the geostationary orbit, that is the GCO, and around 8,000 kg of payloads into the low Earth orbit, that is the LEO. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे this rocket which you can see in the diagram, it's basically is a 3-stage launch vehicle rocket consisting of 2 solid propellants, that is S200 strap-ons on its sides and a core stage comprising of around L110 liquid stage, also having a C25 cryogenic stage. So now you could see about this rocket, which is basically the updated versions of the PSLV Mach 3. So यहाँ पे this is directly a heavier rocket which is recently made successful by ISRO. Okay, so ISRO, congratulations to ISRO and its future endeavors in the coming times. Okay, so ये छोटा सा news था about ISRO, about its success. Now, if you see about the palliative care, okay, so now we could know about that what is palliative care. See, palliative care is defined as the active total care of patients whose disease is not responsive to curative treatment. And this type of care is focused on providing relief from the symptoms and stress of the illness. And the very goal is to improve the quality of life for both the patients and the family. So now if I say about the problems associated with the palliative care, यहाँ पे क्या है? Problems है lack of trained staffs. Okay, so lack of trained staffs and healthcare professionals is one of the problems of the palliative care. Also, restricting the access to opioids for pain control is also another cause. Refusal to accept that there comes a time where one needs to work with the progress or process of dying rather than against it. So what the need of palliative care arises? See, non-communicable disease like cancers are rising these days. And presently in India, we could see about that 30 lakh people are suffering from cancer. And of this, 75 to 80% are in the advanced stage and half of them die within a year. So yet no more than 2% receive palliative care because of the paucity of services. With the corona pandemic, this count will further increase. So now what should be done to improve the conditions of palliative care? See, we need more number of trained professionals Also, renaming the palliative care and call it symptomic care to make it more acceptable to the society. Also, treatment by specialists is very much needed, and the rehabilitation of the family members is one of the prime things that needs to be addressed, especially in case of India. Okay, so therefore यहाँ पे अभी बोला गया है about the palliative care कि access to palliative care is only 1.2% of those in need. ओके तो बस 1 से 2% के लोगों को ही पेलिएटिव केयर मिलता है, दैट इज द टर्शियरी केयर इन ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ सम ऑफ द नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीजेस. सो करंटली ओनली 3 states हैव गॉट सम ऑफ द पेलिएटिव केयर पॉलिसी, बी इट केरला, कर्नाटका, महाराष्ट्र, और बाकी का वहां पे पेलिएटिव केयर बहुत डिसमल लो पे है, दैट इज यू कैन सी अबाउट दिस स्टेट्स. Okay, so we could see that palliative care is a need of the hour for some of the diseases which goes supposed like the AIDS, supposedly like the cancer. Okay, तो यहाँ पे अभी सिंस हम लोग का बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन कैंसर से पीड़ित है, तो यहाँ पे हम लोग का बहुत एक नेसेसिटी बन गया है क्या चीज का, पेलिएटिव केयर का. ठीक है, सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर दिस थिंग्स. नेक्स्ट, द सुकापाइका रिवर इन ओडिशा. ओके, ये बहुत न्यूज में है फ्रॉम द रीसेंट टाइम्स पीरियड बिकॉज यू कैन सी अबाउट that this river, okay, that is the Sukapa river, which stopped flowing 70 years ago, is set to be rejuvenated at the Orissa government has started working on its revival plan, following a recent direction from what? The National Green Tribunal. तो ये रिवर बहुत ज्यादा न्यूज में है, ठीक है, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर है. ओके, सो यू कैन सी अबाउट द locations of the Sukapaika river. So it is one of the several distributaries of the mighty Mahanadi river. तो ये ट्रिब्यूटरी नहीं है, क्या है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरी से, which distributes the water from the main river, that is Mahanadi. ठीक है, so it is branches away from the Mahanadi at Ayatpur village. ठीक है, so it branches in Cuttack district and flows for about 40 kilometers before rejoining its parent river at Tarapur in the same district. ठीक है, तो ये जो रिवर है, this river is an important system of the Mahanadi to control the flood water and maintain the flow in the river as well as in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so what are the key points of this Mahanadi river? We know about that this Mahanadi river is the third largest peninsular India river after Godavari and Krishna. Okay, and also one of the largest rivers of Orissa state. So the catchment area of the river extends to even Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Jharkhand, and Maharashtra. Okay, then its basin is bounded by Central India hills on the north, Eastern Ghats on the south, and the east, and by the Maikala range. Okay, so यहाँ पे आप लोग देख सकते हो, ठीक है. So these are the Eastern Ghats over here. Okay, so we can see about the Eastern Ghats over here. तो यहाँ पे Central Highlands है. So we could find it over here, the Maikala range. Okay, so we know about the major tributaries of this river. That is the Sevnath, the Hasdio, the Mand. Okay, so all these are directly some of the like tributaries. We know about the Hirakud Dam. So Hirakud Dam is the longest dam of India. Okay, so we could see about various other reservoirs and projects, be it the Ravi Shankar Sagar, be it the Dudhwa Reservoir, all these things. And this Mahanadi Basin, because of its rich mineral resources and adequate power resources, we could see it is a favorable industrial climate area. So if I say about the iron and steel plant at Vilai, aluminum factories at Hirakud and Korba, paper mill near Cuttack, okay, cement factory at Sundargarh. So other industries also basically focus on this region because of its proximity and its locations. Okay, तो यहाँ पे ये rivers बहुत न्यूज में है because it's the Odisha government is trying its level best to again regenerate this river so as to control the problem of flood in this whole river system. ओके, तो यहाँ पे ये न्यूज में है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज में है, देख सकते हो तुम लोग. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं. टीचर्स ट्रेनिंग की टू एनसीएफ. तो नाउ वी हैव सीन अबाउट दैट देयर इज अ रेगुलर टेंडेंसी going around the teachers that how it needs to train and in which sectors it needs to train well. See, today if I go with the national curriculum framework, because recently even the union education minister, he launched this NCF for foundational stage education of children in the age group of 3 to 8 years of growth. So now this NCF consists of 4 sections. The first section is the national curriculum framework for school education. Then it is for early childhood care and education. Then it is for teacher education. And lastly, it will be for adult education. So now the framework focuses on the Panchakosa concept. That is the ancient Indian emphasis on the body-mind connection. So the NCF says its 5 parts are physical development, that is the Sharirik Vikas, development of life energy, that is Pranik Vikas, emotional and mental development, that is Manasik Vikas, intellectual development, that is Bodhik Vikas, and spiritual development, that is the Setchik Vikas. So now it is an important step to implement the new education policy of 2020. तो ये जो मैंने 5 physical development का parts बोले हैं about this NCF, please do remember this point. Please, you can directly note it down in some of your copies, in some of your notes, because this is very important. मैं फिर से बोल देता हूँ, 5 parts are physical development, that is शारीरिक विकास, development of life energy, that is प्राणिक विकास, emotional and mental development, that is मानसिक विकास, intellectual development, that is बौद्धिक विकास, and spiritual development, that is चैतसिक विकास. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है in this context of NCF. Okay, so we know about the systems that we see about today's NEP, that is the National Education Policy. तो ये जो National Education Policy है, that is a new academic structure which has been basically categorized under 2+3+3+3+4. ठीक है, तो फाउंडेशनल, प्रिपेरेटरी, देन मिडिल एज एंड लास्टली द सेकेंडरी स्टेज. तो ये हम लोग का 2+3 5, 5+3+3+4 करिकुलर स्ट्रक्चर है. Okay, so basically which integrates the early childhood care and the education for all children under the age group of 3 to 8. And we all know that the early childhood is basically laying the foundation for the lifelong learning process and development. तो यहाँ पे वही बोला गया है कि like how we could make the teachers trainings key to NCF implementation, because without the teachers getting trained, okay, जहाँ पे pedagogy बोलते हैं, जो teachers को बताते हैं कि कैसे एक framework लेके जाना है students के द्वारा. So all these things needs to be very much enhanced so that we could directly tap the potential of these teachers in making the country very much of good educated, as well as a good number of students would come out from these teachers so that they could work for the betterment of this country. Okay, तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है about even the language कि लोगों को अच्छे से समझ कब आता है, जब वो मातृभाषा में या लोकल लैंग्वेज में उसको बोला जाए. तो इंग्लिश कुड बी वन ऑफ द सेकंड लैंग्वेज ऑप्शन, सो एस विद इन दिस नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क. ओके, तो यहाँ पे ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. नेक्स्ट आते हैं 5 न्यू वेराइटीज ऑफ बासमती. तो यहाँ पे वी नो अबाउट द बासमती राइस, which is basically the important rice group, okay, that we can see in our country today. तो यहाँ पे the 5 new basmati varieties developed by a group of scientists from the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, that is the IARI, in 2020 and 2021, and are all set to bring revolutionary change in the way this type of paddy is cultivated in the country. तो ये बासमती राइस होता क्या है? Basmati, pronounced, is a variety of long, slender grain aromatic rice which is traditionally grown in India, Pakistan, and Nepal. That is the Indian subcontinent. Okay, so we know about that as of 2019, India accounted for around 65% of the international trade. Okay, in this basmati rice. तो देख सकते हो बासमती राइस कैसे होता है. ठीक है, so while Pakistan accounted for remaining 35%. ठीक है, तो यहाँ से ही majority of the basmati rice हम लोग का जाता है. So we know about that this basmati rice, where India directly accounts for 70% of the world's basmati production. So we have got a good number of potential of this basmati rice, because basmati rice has a market abroad and brings about rupees 30,000 crore in foreign exchange every year. So, however, recently the export to the European Union countries faced certain hurdles due to increase in the pesticide residue levels in the rice from India. So now we could see about that these traditional varieties, which are very much susceptible to two major diseases, that is bacterial leaf blight and blast, that is the leaf and collar diseases, which is caused by the fungus Magna porte orsi. So these pesticides and fungicides used against these diseases increase the residue level permitted in developed countries. And the IRI has developed the 5 varieties, 3 of which can resist 2 common diseases of paddy. And the other 2 can save around 35% of the water now required, as the seeds can be directly sown, obviating the need for transplanting seedlings. So these 2 seeds are resistant to herbicides too, helping the farmers to control even the weeds more efficiently. तो यहाँ पे वही सब बात बोला गया है कि हाउ वी कुड मेक, बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगर 35,000 करोड़ अगर हम लोग का आ रहा है, तो कैसे हम लोग का इसका प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा करके हम लोग कैसे थोड़ा अच्छे से यहाँ से सो दैट वी कुड डायरेक्टली एक्सपोर्ट दिस चावल, दैट इज द बासमती राइस, टू सम ऑफ द आउटर नेशंस, so that we could make some of the good revenue out of this rice, because ये जितने भी राइस है 70% of this basmati rice comes basically from India, रेस्ट आता है पाकिस्तान से. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे वही सब बात बोला गया है about the new varieties of rice which is basically resistant to some of the pest, which is for which we need various number of pesticides as well as insecticides, और इसके लिए हम लोग का रेसिड्यू लेवल बढ़ जाता है, which is not acceptable in some of the developed countries. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये 5 वेराइटीज विल एक्सपांड इंडियाज बासमती प्लेटर. Okay, तो यहाँ पे वही सब बोला गया है. Okay, so that's all for today. We have got this 5 number of questions. Please do attempt this 5 number of questions. You will get the MCQs in tomorrow's PDF. Also, we have got a mains question, so you can attempt it and send it to our groups. Do join our WhatsApp as well as the Telegram channel for further latest updates. So that's all for today. Thank you. Happy Diwali and Jai Hind.